Uh, Good afternoon to all. Thank you for joining us today for the special lecture series on sustainability that we've been talking about. I'm sure all of us have been on headlines that we have seen over the last couple of years coming in. First, everybody talking about AI, the artificial intelligence explosions that we're looking at, putting scare into people, saying that there are more jobs to be lost than to be created. And of course, added to that doom and gloom that we've seen, we've also seen a second headline that says the climate crisis is happening. There's heat waves, polluted cities happening, and then feeling that the planet you are going to inherit, especially the Gen Zs in the session today, it can feel really massive that only enhances your anxiety and increases your apathy towards the world that we're leaving behind. There are two massive things that you need to look at. They either look like sci-fi movies that you see at the end of the destruction phase, or a natural disaster movie that you look at. But what if we say that we take a different perspective around it? That's the negative perspective that we are traditionally asked to look at, because you also always want to be pessimist and then become an optimist. If we can combine these two together and see how the explosion of AI as well as the climate crisis together as a single great opportunity to solve problem in human history. You don't need wars alone to solve history. World War I and World War II saw new techs coming in, new kind of technologies being used, and today's hybrid technologies have brought in various solutions that have done. But that's happened largely because a lot of individuals came up with new thoughts to solve existing problems or created problems. And we are today at that juncture where India is a perfect place that this can happen. Why do I say that? I mean, first of all, why is this age of AI the age of entrepreneurship? Because I believe AI is the ultimate equalizer. In the past, if you wanted to build a Fortune 500 company, you needed a lot of resources. You needed a massive factory, a massive sales team, a huge IT department. Today, almost 50% of that work can be done by a single person called AI. And with a small team of people of yours that can have the analytical power that a Fortune 500 company today uses, you can seriously democratize expertise. That is the power that AI can bring to you. Just think about it. You don't need to be a senior architect to design the most energy efficient building. An AI model can help you run 1,000,000 simulations for you to find the perfect design to meet every single climatic condition for which you're building this entire dream for either an individual or a community. That's the power that AI can help you with. So all it's doing is asking you to take a new perspective. Don't get carried away when people tell you that AI is going to take away your jobs. AI is going to make your jobs much more exciting, much more fulfilling, is what you need to really look at. You don't need decades of data if you're interested as an engineer to advise a farmer on optical water usage, because AI can analyze data, satellite as well as soil data, and deliver insights via simple apps that farmers can use for the last mile connectivity that you want to look at. So don't believe when somebody tells you that AI is here to replace you. Sorry, AI isn't here to replace you. They told us the same in our generation of the millennials. Computers have come. That was the age of typewriters. They scared us saying that you will be jobless because there are no longer typewriters going to be there. Computers will take away your jobs. Today, they're doing the same story about AI. So please don't get scared. There's nothing to be scared. Be really excited, because AI is here to amplify what you think. It has the potential to transform your thesis or capstone projects and turn them into actual viable products. And in India, that has a huge advantage because we have enough and more problems, and we have enough and more Gen Zs available to solve them. It just takes your idea and you can scale them into industry. You're going to be creating new industries. Old industries will always die. IT industry came in. Does old industry die? No, they transform. So existing industries will transform, new industries will emerge. And that's what you're looking to create. But the biggest advantage you'll have as compared to previous generations is the barrier to entry has never been lower than what it is today. You can really go ahead and set up an establishment on that particular space. That is what AI has. And the ability to create has never been higher, because each of you today have the space and the creative juices that are needed to really make it happen in the AI space. But now, why should we look at sustainability, especially here in India? It is the hottest area to start. Why? Because India isn't just facing climate challenges, it is a living laboratory for every single one of them. Today, India has the huge advantage of being the only country which has all the 5 agroclimatic zones. That means all types of things that are needed anywhere in the world can be experimented in India. Just look around you. If you see, rapid urbanization is happening, whether it is Delhi, Bangalore, whether it's Hyderabad, any city that you look at, millions are moving into cities that need to build smart as well as green from grounds up. And now we are looking at greening up some of these buildings which are already there, which again is still patchwork. There's a massive energy transition. People are talking about hydrogen, green energies, and others. But how do we enhance efficiency? That is what technology brings in most of the time. There's also an agriculture revolution silently happening, where there's a need to feed 1 billion people with less water and more unpredictable weather. That is another challenge that's coming in from the agriculture space, which is also going to impact our food security too. All these are not problems, they're problems and opportunities that you're really looking at building solutions for. Right now, there's also a green building boom. I'm sure Hari and Rajneesh ji and others can vouch for the number of people who are going and getting their homes and offices. There's a massive and urgent demand for spaces that consume less energy, water, and cost. Gone are the days when they're saying green was a badge to wear. Today, green demonstrates whether the organization is efficient or not. And I'm sure soon green will also be an area where people will say, hey, if you don't have the green certification, I think you lose a few points in the market as well. That's the opportunity that's available. These aren't just problems, these are multi-billion-dollar market gaps. And they are not theoretical problems happening in a textbook that you look and sit in your classroom. These are things that you can solve in your studios, in your charrettes, wherever that you're really looking at, or in your own practical labs. They're happening right outside the window that you can see as well. Then how do we connect the dots? What do we want to inspire you today? We want you to really see how you can connect these dots. AI is just the how. How do I do it? Sustainability is the what that you're going to work on. And of course, India is where you're going to work the solutions on. You have the tools, AI, which is a massive, and you have an urgent problem to solve, which is sustainability. And of course, the most dynamic, complex, and perfect place on earth to build the solution is India. You cannot find a better place. You don't have to ask anybody for any permissions to make this happen. You can just transform your existing capstone projects and make them into real solutions for people. Don't waste your time in making theoretical models just to get grades. Those grades are of no use. Ask ma'am, she'll tell you. Nobody has asked her grade after her first time that she's got a job. After that, she's just said, what's the work that you've done? Show me your portfolio. Your portfolio has more value than the grades you carry. So use your opportunity to translate your capstone projects or thesis projects and see that you don't use them just to get grades. Make them the first version of your startup, a startup, and making you an entrepreneur that helps build a greener, smarter, and a more prosperous India. The future isn't just something you read about. It's something that you can build, and you have the opportunity to build. If you build, then Viksit Bharat is a possibility. Otherwise, we can speak, but I don't think anything can happen. What people today are going to be talking to you are about bringing ideas and solutions to you that you can explore. And that's exactly what they'll be telling you, not teaching you how to do, but showing you opportunities of how you can explore from product point of view, as well as in terms of how venture funds work together to see and support student entrepreneurs to translate their capstones into startups. I now hand over to Gayatri ma'am to introduce the two speakers who are there. But keep this in mind. Look at building the future of green tech, because there are so many opportunities available. Please don't go searching for a job with a CV. Don't waste your time. Wishing you the very best. Over to Gayatri ma'am.
Thank you. A very good afternoon to one and all present here. So very happy to be part of this and inviting to listen to two great speakers, Mr. Suresh Narasimha and Dr. Bharath Mohan. So the reason why we are here today is we recently have conducted, along with Green Computing Foundation, Dr. Neeladri, who's also part of the attendees here today. So we have started this Sustainable AI Center of Excellence, so in association with Green Computing Foundation. And we have conducted a hackathon, which is like a sequence to the hackathon which we have conducted, where more than 1,500 participants. The whole idea of this hackathon was to trigger this idea of sustainability and sustainable AI. So it's AI for sustainability, and sustainable AI is what we are looking into. And these ideas, when they have come up with, and we have almost like 20 participants who presented this idea. But what next to this is we want to listen from Mr. Suresh Narasimha, who is a co-creator of this ARAM, a campus-focused VC fund that has supported and incubated almost 75 startups. And then we have Dr. Bharath Mohan, who's from PhD from IISc and the founder of Sensara.tv. So we want to learn a lot from you from these speakers. Yeah, over to you, Suresh, sir.
I think Bharath is going to start first.
Bharath, yeah, sorry.
Sure. Thanks a lot for having me. So I'm a techno-optimist. So what that means is the stance that we take is to say technology is not here to create trouble, but it initially looks like it's trouble, but it finds its way, and we always get to a greener and better future. The message that I want to give, I'm going to show through a demo of some of our work through our company. But I want to bring to your notice the possibility of this exciting field around video understanding, and how new things can happen because we can create this ability to understand what is around us. I'll obviously give you some demos, and right after that, I'll also talk about some of the applications that we are looking at in many different areas, including healthcare and other areas. I think the major connect towards sustainability here is if you can bring the power of intelligence through without having to send people back and forth, then we are actually reducing a lot of commute time, right? And the biggest contribution of AI is actually to do smart work remotely in places without having to move people around. And if you can make that efficient. So this will be a pattern in what I'm going to talk about. And through examples of our video understanding system and then extrapolating it to other potential use cases, I will talk about how you have to take the concepts of sustainability into the economic design of a product. What this means is how you split between training loads, inferencing loads, what happens in the cloud versus what happens on the edge is all something that you have as an opportunity. And actually, AI is interesting in the sense that if you actually make AI green, you're bringing down costs, which makes the whole product also more economical in that sense. So I'll share my screen. I'm going to take the first 10 minutes giving you an example of the potential of video understanding and why we are actually looking at like a fantastic future for this. Some of this will be a surprise for you. You would normally see this and not see this in a discussion around sustainability, but you'll see the massive potential of this very soon. So let me share my screen. Can I be given the ability to share sound as well?
Yes, you can share, sir. You have the controls.
Yeah, but it's not allowing me to share sound. I can get started anyways.
Yes.
Okay. So completely unrelated, but you will see the connection very soon in a bit. This is an example of our work. We work in the media and visual understanding space. And I've just added in like a few videos here. And what happens is, I mean, these are all like interesting movies that are there. Like I'm going to take Mission Impossible as an example to show this. But what you can see is if you throw in all of these videos could be of any nature. I mean, there could be like an Oval Office interview with Donald Trump. There's a documentary. There are a few movies. There are even some podcasts that are there. And now we want to go try to make sense out of whatever was inserted, right? So I want to take you through this example next. So this is, again, the entirety of Mission Impossible movie that has been added. This is Dead Reckoning Part 1. I'm sure many of you in the audience or in the panelists have also seen this movie. So I'm just going to go in and say, hey, take me to the scene in which Ethan Hunt rides the motorbike off the cliff. Okay, so there you go. All I did is to type something and so we go exactly to that scene. Okay, this is magical, right? So it is, and there were so many things that were happening here. You notice that he's jumping off the cliff. How do you know this is Ethan Hunt? This is Tom Cruise that is playing this, but in this case, I've mentioned this as Ethan Hunt. And yet it knew where to start the scene, where to end the scene, right? And let me do another example. Right, you get to the scene where actually enable transcript. Okay, now think of all the possibilities of this. This is just raw video that was fed into the system, and the system has the ability to index and retrieve to this fine grain. You can just ask anything. Imagine the future of this. I know this happened with us, right? So my wife lost the car's key last week, and we searched the entire house all the time. We could not find it. Finally, my daughter found it somewhere. I'm sure all of you have faced this. Where is my sock? Where is this? And all that. Imagine if you had a video of your home and you can just ask, like, where did I last keep the key, right? So all of that is already possible today, right, with the system. And I'm going to explain how this does it. So, right, let me now open a broader view of everything that is happening. This is a random scene inside the movie. And I want to show you the level of inferencing that we are able to do. Again, believe me, all of this is connected to sustainability. You will see why. Because when you're taking up a AI project, you will have multiple aspects of this to cover. So look at this. This line here is trying to tell which camera shot this video and if there was a change in the camera. So every time this block moves to the next one, you'll notice that the camera angle will change. You see that the camera angle has changed? See, again, the camera angle has changed. Inside this, there are different people speaking. There are people coming out. There are faces, right? We can say, okay, who are the people in this? There is Wing Rames is here. Simon Pegg is here, right? So you know all the people that are there. What are the objects in this scene? There seems to be a laptop here, right? I'll go back and see he's actually holding a laptop, which we've been able to detect. Who is the speaker in this? So this is voice recognition. So even though the camera is focused on Simon Pegg, it is actually Wing Rames voice that is being spoken. And if I were to put a detail of like track everything for me, right? It is now saying, okay, these are the people, these are the objects. This is what is the important focus. This is almost like the human eye working. We're saying there's so much that is in front of you. What should I focus on? And when you have systems like this, and you want to convert this into, say, just a vertical format, right? I just clicked and now you exactly know what to focus on in every scene. Right? This whole thing is happening through dynamic inferencing on this, right? So now I wanted to show you a brief demo of this where the power of inferencing is so magical, and the level of understanding we are able to get for raw video is also so magical, right? So look at this. This scene is explained accurately by the AI system, and it says this is what's happening. The summary of the scene is Benji Dunn expresses concern about a potential bomb threat on an airplane, and also explains visually what is happening here. The video begins with Luther Stickles seated at a table with a laptop, displaying surveillance footage. Benji Dunn stands in front of him, and so on, right? So now, because we had captured it all to that level of detail, and check out this, right? This is the entire movie as I go up. Look at the level of detail to which we've been able to capture this. And hence, doing those kind of queries were super easy. Now you want to say, okay, give me the scene in which Tom Cruise is in an adventure scene, right? So you got Tom Cruise in an adventure scene. Now imagine this being applied for cricket. Imagine this being applied for maybe mining operations, maybe climate testing operations, and all that. Okay. So I wanted to give you this context so I can now start speaking a little bit more about how aspects of sustainability come in here, both in terms of sustainable AI as well as AI for sustainability. Let me take the first part, AI for sustainability, and I'm going to focus a little bit more on video understanding itself, right? See, essentially, our company is called Sensara because we are saying it's the essence of senses. And there's a beauty to why the neck is designed like this, right? So we have 5 senses. Obviously, we can see, we can taste, we can hear, we can smell, and we can feel. 4 out of these 5 senses are focused on the neck, right? All of them are in the neck. I mean, obviously, we can feel all over. But what is also interesting is, why are they all in the head? And why is the neck kind of designed like this? It is actually super energy efficient. We need quick reflexes. What we see is influenced by what we hear. Somebody speaks on the left, we turn towards them. And we look at something, we focus our ears on that. This is called audio focus, right? So, I mean, we started out looking at this saying, can we try to emulate how humans work by trying to emulate the senses? And the reason why 4 out of these 5 are actually in the neck is because you want very, very quick turnaround time. They're all super connected to the brain. They're able to send impulses to the brain and come back, and they all need to coordinate well, which is why 4 out of these 5 senses are with the neck. The other beauty of human design is, why is the neck like this? Why are we able to turn things around? And the reason is actually to help our sensory organs be able to understand our environment a little bit better. We have 2 eyes, we have 2 ears, we have 2 noses, of course, we have 1 tongue. But the reason why we have 2 of these is to be able to do what is called as depth inferencing, which is we want stereophonic vision. We need to know how far a certain object is while it is coming towards us. Then the ears, just by detecting the difference in times that sound takes to come reach the 2 ears, we're able to find out the source of sound, right? And the same with smell as well, which is why we have 2 nostrils. Which nostril gets smell the first is actually used to, then we turn around like this and try to source this. This is called multimodal understanding, where we are looking at multiple types of stimuli and then trying to put them together. And what I showed you in terms of video is an example of that, where we have the ability to recognize the sound, focus on who it is, and so on. The other aspect about human design is, oh, we are also neural networks, and we are doing this entirely on the edge. Somebody, we were discussing that all of human power is, we are apparently a 40-watt device, right? So that's how efficient we are, and we are able to do all of this, unlike these guzzling GPUs that need so much more wattage to be able to do all this. Now, again, two areas. Now, if you take this notion of video understanding, it is essentially giving the ability for a camera, potentially a set of audios, to go figure out what is happening in a remote environment. It could be live video, it could be healthcare, it could be a mining site where oxygen levels are super low. Obviously, it's very dangerous to gain access to them. It could be deep sea exploration, but having the ability to do video understanding gives us the thing. And in a sense, when you can do this more precisely, you don't need doctors to travel far. You don't need people to travel far and wide to be able to do field inspections, because you can have field inspections all the time happening automatically through the idea of video understanding. So a lot changed in the last 2 years. I mean, you're like, okay, why was this harder earlier? And video understanding is different from video analytics itself, because analytics, people were looking at counting problems. Okay, how many footballs are there on screen? How many people are there on screen? How many dogs are there on screen? But now in understanding, we are trying to go into the semantics of what is exactly happening, right? Somebody is trying to poison the other person here, right? So that's the extent to which we are going, and new transformer architectures are coming out, which gives us this ability to do video understanding in multimodal methods as well. Now, I think the connection to sustainability here is, we are actually looking at putting a human head far away with the intelligence of doing local inferencing, right? And that is how efficient it can get. You can do remote surgeries very accurately. The other aspect is, commute is going to become way safer from both perspectives. One is, if somebody else is, you have ADAS systems that actually work like using the same principles that I showed, using subject detection and other things. And you'll be able to use multimodal sensors to be able to do that. So, and reduce the need of travel itself, because you can do more things remotely. That is a strong opportunity that we are seeing. And what is interesting is, while we were doing all of this in our own company, I mean, necessity is the mother of invention. The fact that video, the fact that video is so bulky, right? And high quality video is very hard to transport through the internet. There is a strong need for doing a lot of this inferencing on the edge. So when we started working with larger OTT companies and studios and all that, they all started asking for, hey, we love your product. Can we do all of this on the edge? So we've been working on miniaturizing the video understanding systems, where we can ultimately put this whole thing on a smaller GPU that just sits somewhere remotely. Imagine a stadium, a cricket stadium, where you want to infer, okay, can I make a quick cutout of whatever happened on the field, or even which player to focus on, right? By using local techniques that are there. So we've been moving a lot of this inferencing over to the edge, and that makes it way more efficient, because you do not have to transfer so much video out. And again, the edge has its own power constraints and so on, which means that naturally people are going to follow a process of making things more efficient and more lightweight as well. Another important note that I want to bring is I think we are going through a phase in the AI industry where a lot more money and compute is being spent on training. It is going to quickly change over to what is called as inferencing. The models are all getting built out. More and more people are using the same models. The energy costs of inferencing are far lower than training costs, and you can have more efficient architectures that are doing inferencing, and things like other ideas around model inferencing, distilling, and so on are also coming through, which means that you're trying to make the AI model shrink to be smaller in size and so on. This is the message that I want to give. Happy to take any questions if you have, right, and then I can discuss further.
I think we'll go with the presentation and then follow with Suresh and then take questions in the end. I think that's better for us to do.
Certainly.
Yeah.
Suresh, over to you, sir.
Thanks, Bharat. Suresh, over to you.
Hi. Hello to all. And I mean, what you saw was just now is probably one of the best AI startups that India has produced, right? So, I mean, really heartening to see the kind of work that Bharat is doing. And I hope all of you get inspired with what you just saw and build many more ventures like Sensara. So, let me, I have decided not to talk too much about sustainability or just about sustainability. I want to focus a lot more on making sure that you build a sustainable ventures. There are two reasons why I want to do this. Just now I heard all of you have gone through an hackathon and came out with some of the brilliant ideas. The biggest question that I have is what's next, right? You participated in a hackathon, and some of you won a prize, some of you haven't got the prize. That's a different issue. But what's next for you? Normally, our approach in the campuses have been, I just go to hackathon so that it fills my resume, right? It adds new dimension to my resume. But next 20 minutes, probably I'm going to give you a better idea in terms of how can you make your resume better and how can you make your career 10x better and probably add a lot more value to this earth than what you would have otherwise. This is what I normally say, right? If you have an idea, right? You went to hackathon, you figured out an idea, you figured out a solution. Now it becomes your responsibility to solve, right? So there is a saying, if you know it, if you have some knowledge and if you don't share it with someone, you are doing you will be cursed. Same thing goes with innovators, right? If you have an idea, if you don't take the responsibility, you know a problem and you know the solution, if you don't take the responsibility to launch this, that's not just a loss of opportunity, but it's getting away from responsibility, and that's what I want to tell. I really want to, at the end of next 20 minutes, I really want you to give one thought as to why should not I convert my whatever the hackathon idea I had into a prototype or a product or hopefully a startup, right? So please remember, it's a builders, those who act on the opportunity who will make a difference and not those who complain, right? And you being students, there is some very, very unique opportunity you have. What's that, right? So many of us, right? Even many of us who are sitting in the panel, we probably never experienced the problems around environment that you guys are facing, right? So we never had to worry about AQI. We never had to worry about, many of us never had to worry about water scarcity. We never had to worry about ozone layer, right? But you guys are. In fact, if you just go and talk to someone in Delhi, say youngsters in Delhi, right? It's difficult to breathe, right? So you are the first generation who are facing the real problems of sustainability, ecosystem challenges, and probably you are the last generation who have an opportunity to go and do something about it. So it's an opportunity and responsibility. And if you are part of this session, if you are part of this hackathon, or if you are part of this ecosystem, please do something about it, and I can assure you that this will be fruitful for you, and that will be good for the world around us. Right? Having said this, I just want to talk about, it's not that students are not working on it. It's not that there are no efforts, right? I just want to talk about some of the startups by other students in our own cohorts, right? So that you get motivated and then take up your idea. Right? There is a student who is in third year who is building a product called Sustify. What is he doing? He went and indexed all the materials, biodegradable materials out there in the world. He has just indexed them using AI. And then he is telling the corporations, please come and tell me what your product is. I will give you alternative solutions for your packaging. I'll give you alternative solutions for your um, production, right, which are a lot more sustainable, right? So, for example, if you are just buying, let's say, toothpaste, he will come and tell you what is the material in which toothpaste should be packaged, which is biodegradable instead of plastic, right? He recognizes functional, financial, and performance related expectations of the organization, gives a solution. And that's all that he is doing is he used AI, indexed all the materials available on biodegradable materials available in the world, and he is giving this solution. Is an example. There's a company called Go Local. What they are doing is, one of the biggest problem is the transportation and logistics. That's what's hurting the world a lot more. So let me fix it. What did he do? He is miniaturizing most of the production, right? It's a bunch of mechanical guys miniaturing most of the production, so that now production happens just around the consumption. Imagine you having an opportunity to, there is a machine which will produce shampoo or soap for you next to your apartment. Or imagine there is a atta machine which you can go and get the atta instead of getting it from remote factory, right? That company is called Go Local. That's the second company which is there. There is a company called Sonicscape. What they are doing is they're just, by recognizing the temperature, vibration and noise around the AC, they are just improving um, the way AC works in an organization, so that the power consumption is reduced, right? Then there is a company called Agnihotri, which is, again, all these are by students. I'm just telling you, these are the students who added before I get to this. There is a company called Agnihotri who is doing reusable rockets, right? He is saying 70% of the powers that the drones, small planes, or even the rockets consume is during takeoff and landing. Let me optimize it so that there is 70% fuel efficiency that happens in the world, right? So all these ideas that I've mentioned started as a capstone. There was a brilliant student, right, who came out with this idea. Then they got the support structure, and now they are becoming full-blown startups. And I can assure you, most of them will be potential great companies that you hear in the next few years, right? So, and I will talk about these opportunities and challenges as we go further, right? One second. Right. So, but why am I even talking to you? Right. So, just to tell you, I run a fund which invests in student startups. Right. We only focus on helping students become innovators. We run a fund and we run a foundation. Right. So, I will get back to you later on that. Right. But the reason why we do it is this: students have zero baggage. Right. Go and talk to your parents. Go and talk to your uncles. Go and talk to anyone who is senior, right? They have enough problems in this world, right? And they have lost touch with what's required by you guys, right? So for you, the challenge of starting a company exponentially increases after you leave the college. Today, you have zero baggage, right? The worst thing that can happen to you when you build a startup in the campus is that you end up getting a better salary. That's the worst thing that can happen to you, right? So this is what we tell our students. If you just build a great project, right? Think deep, build a very interesting project. I will give you two alternatives. For each of you who will build with us, we'll give you two alternatives. You take additional funding from us and then go and build a startup. But if you think, for some reason, if you think you don't want to build a startup, or You don't want to get into sales and marketing and rest of the opportunity. That's fine. We'll get you acquired. We'll get you acquired at a much better salary, right? So my promise to you is, if you convert your capstone projects or the ideas that you had in a hackathon, improve them and then build into a product or build into a startup, I can assure you that we will make sure that you are a lot more successful in career. You will end up having a lot better salary than many of your colleagues, even from day one. I'm not even talking about the future. That advantage exists only for the students. I can't go to, your professors, or I can't go to your parents and promise them the same thing, right? For many reasons. Today, it's A, I don't even know whether they'll be able to build it or not, unlike you guys. And B, there is a lot more risk. I'll tell you one thing. There is a company called Smart Chakra that we have, right? Smart Chakra, what they do, they want to reduce the battery consumption of the cars by 30%. How do they want to do this? They figured out the biggest factor that consumes battery in the car is actually your tire pressure, right? By optimizing tire pressure, I will be able to conserve 30% of my battery cost is the insight they had. So what they did, they went and created a auto inflation and deflation system for the tires. This requires understanding of mechanical engineering. This requires understanding of automobile industry, engineering. It requires understanding of sensors and electronics. Of course, it requires CI, because you need to determine what should be the ideal temperature, ideal air pressure at each time, right? For you as students to do this is very, very easy. Why? You guys know how to go and do the research, read the research papers, right? And you guys can do interdisciplinary innovation, right? Your friends in the other departments will be happy to join you. But you just go and talk to the industry. It's so difficult to build a project like this. I can tell you, when you are in the campus, you are blessed to build very, very interesting solutions, right? That brings us to sustainability that I wanted to talk about, sustainable ventures. See, 80-90% of the sustainable ventures, while they require AI, right? Hopefully, while they may require AI, they also require strong understanding of basic sciences. They require understanding of all the subjects that you never enjoyed studying in your first year engineering, right? But if you want to be a great sustainability engineer, you need to be a multidisciplinary person. And once you leave the college, all the understanding that you have in terms of other branches will go away, because you will end up becoming experts in Excel and PowerPoint. Nothing other than that is a different issue, right? So it's your time. This is the great opportunity for you. When you are in college, please go and convert your capstone into projects. And I repeat, the biggest loss that you are going to have is that you will end up getting better salary than what's other way around. Of course, there is always a great opportunity for you to get to funding. And when we went and asked a lot of students, what is that prevents you from becoming an entrepreneur? Lot of them said, oh, funding, right? So we don't have funding, right? We don't have money and other stuff, right? So that's a typical problem that they said, right? Of course, they also came back to us and with the excuses saying that, oh, let me do it after getting some experience, etc. I will come to it later. But one is the funding, right? This is precisely why students should start a company today, right? I will tell you why. Today, solving sustainable problems, more than funding, they require a great team. They require a passion. They require focus. They require one's ability to spot a small and niche problem. Our experience says you guys, the youngsters, are extremely good in two things, two extremes, right? You are really good about identifying the problems when it comes to environment or sustainability, right? And in fact, even social causes, the way you understand social cause is much, much different from the way we understand social cause, because your perspective on the world is much different, right? And I can assure you that none of us matter as much as any of you students, right? So your ability to spot a problem is better. And I told you your ability to solve a problem is better, because it's not just that you know AI, you also know other disciplines. And your ability to work with the other students is much better. Then you have another very, very, very unique advantage. What's that? you will be able to build a company at a much, much lower cost than what's possible outside, right? We invest $200,000, right? Around 2 crore, right? And in 2 crore, most of the startups will get into a revenue figures which are extremely interesting. Outside the campuses, at $200,000, we can't even start a company. Forget about it, right? We can't even hire first 2 employees today, right? So the advantage that the colleges have is, right, you will be able to build a startup, build a company at a much, much lower cost factor than what's possible otherwise. And of course, we are saying that funding does not build the company, but the clarity does. Clarity in terms of having a razor sharp focus, clarity in terms of having a great team who is passionate to work with you. And these things are possible and these things are available abundantly in the campus. And needless to say, we are more than happy to fund you, right? I'm saying funding is not a constraint, but fund is what makes you, the small funding is what makes you successful. And that is the differentiator that you have, because 200K with you is probably equivalent of 20 million some of the larger companies, right? And all that you need to do is you need to solve a small, sharp problem, right? And understand real users are the foundation of sustainability, right? Can you spot a small problem? Normally people come and tell you, think end to end, right? Think of a much larger problem. Don't worry about it. If you are passionate about something, if you are passionate about just making your campus cleaner, just focus on this. If you are uh, really passionate about just reducing the water wastage in your apartment, just do this. If you are just passionate about having right trees in your community, just do that, right? Pick up a problem and solve it very well. Only advice that I give you is, when you find a problem, do few things. Do these things, right? These are your advantages. One is go and do a lot more of literature survey, because that's your strength. Go and look at all the patents that are available. I want you to do this, right? Go and look at the competition. If you say someone else is not, no one else is solving that problem, probably you don't know how to do Google, or you don't know even to use how to use ChatGPT, right? Go and ask the right question. Look at who are the other people who are solving that problem. Figure out if there is a way in which you can solve that problem lot better, right? Using all your ingenuity, all your hacks, etc. Figure out if you can solve that problem a lot better. Or even better is when you know that, okay, this technology does not exist that can solve that problem. Let me go and build that technology, right? If you can identify a small problem, right, which can solve problems of the real users better than any alternatives they have, right, and make it sustainable, right, then you are the winner. Right? There is nothing else you require. You will, rest of the things will chase you. The money will chase you, opportunities will chase you, and customers will chase you. And the next thing what we tend to do is we end up requiring the perfection, right? So we will never, I mean, I know there is a product, I need to keep working on it, right? I mean, this algorithm is not working well, or I want to make this a better coding. It's very difficult to maintain. It may not be scalable after 1,000 users. All these things, stop worrying about it. One prototype or one customer deployment, pilot deployment will teach you 100 more things than any of your theoretical exercise does. So if you have your hackathon, if you have identified an idea, build a prototype, right? Go and find who is the customer who will deploy this. If you want some help, come to us, we'll help you. Go and deploy it and learn from your pilot. You know exactly what is the good, what's good about you, what's bad about you. And anyway, you are doing your capstone. You are deploying your capstone. If it doesn't work, if you think you don't have a great solution, that's still better. As I told you, the least thing that can happen to you, if you try to convert your capstone into a business and go and deploy it, is you will get a better salary, right? So, I mean, I always joke this, right? What is the biggest problem with startups? The answer is most of them will never start, right? So if you don't start, you can never have a startup, right? So normally the assumption, okay, I'm not so great to become a startup, create a startup, right? Or I don't have so much of experience to create a startup. It will not work like this. You need to start to become great, right? There are enough examples that we have around. Mark Zuckerberg never worked for anyone. Bill Gates never worked for anyone. Or our own India, OYO founder never worked for anyone, right? Or even for me and Bharat, we can assure you that the amount of learning that we had while building our own startup, there is no one which we could have got from even if we had spent another 20 years, we would not have got that learning. So my suggestion to you is start today, start when you are in campus, because that's a zero risk, right? And we can, people can come and teach you, a lot of the technology, the business plan, finance skills. These are very, very easy for us to teach, right? In fact, we'll tell them, you don't even need to build a business plan to start working with us. We'll work with you to build a business plan. But what we can't do is this. One is, we can't help you orient you academically stronger, right? We can't help you go and read the newspaper. We can't bring in that academic discipline which is required for you. We can't build your character. We can't build a value system. We can't build a resilience. And we can't build a consistency. And of course, we can't help you if you are not able to find other 3 friends within your campus, right, who wants to join you and solve this problem. If you are a great team, if you are passionate. Yeah, I'll close this.
Yeah.
Right? Then we are more than happy to help you in your journey, right? So if any of you anytime feel that you have an idea which is worthwhile to solve some problem, we are more than happy to help you and work with you on this. Thanks.
Thanks, Suresh sir. I'm sure some of them are, some of the students have either understood or not understood anything, exactly like what I have also been. But just to give a perspective and summarize, I think what you're looking at is a startup already in motion, and there is a way what a fund will look like of what you're doing at. So whenever you look at most of your capstones, the worst thing that as a student, each of you can do is just print it, bind it, and put it up on a shelf, right? And the objective we are trying to tell you here right now is please don't do that. If you've got a fantastic solution and you think that the solution works, how do you know that the solution works? Take it to somebody, ask them to use it, deploy it, test it. And if it works, then there is enough and more money in India to support you to become a startup of your own, so that a lot more people can use the same ideas or solutions that you have actually taken, or even build on it. There may be a large company that may be interested in actually looking at your idea and acquiring you. What does acquire mean? If you have an idea and you have a team in place, let's say you've got an architect, you've got an engineer, whatever is needed for you to solve that problem, you've got your team in place, they can buy out the entire team. Need not be that they'll hire you. So if you're looking at a solution that you've got, I think it's important to see how we can make these things happen. Similarly, that is one of the agenda that what PJMT has been working on. And I leave Payalji to talk about the National Green Earth Challenge, of why these challenges are very important. Take these challenges seriously. There are great opportunities for solving and creating your own startup enterprises. Please don't search for jobs. Yeah. And here is the opportunity that you can also leverage. Payalji, over to you.
Thank you, Arun. This was a wonderful presentation. I was hooked. I was watching the whole. I was particularly excited about what Bharat shared in the beginning. How every dialogue, where it's coming from, where it's placed, whose voice. I thought that was that was really amazing. So much I've learned. Thank you very much. And Suresh, also thank you. Great insights. I'm sure students have a lot of food for thought. I wanted to come in here and talk about our National Green Earth Challenge 2.0. It's the second year. We have about 240 fabulous submissions. We are now going into our preliminary jury. I'm hoping that some of the students here have also participated, have sent in entries. If you have missed this one, please don't miss the next one, because this time we are actually asking Arun to bring in the startup universe into the finalists. So after the zonal entry, there will be a jury, there'll be a few jury members who will look at your submissions and see if they can handhold and help you go into the startup universe. So it's not just the challenge, not just the money, the mentoring, all of that is happening, but also the future possibilities of going into a startup. What Suresh said was most inspiring. And Suresh, I will leave this thought with you that please join us at the NGEC. We hope you'll be part of our jury, and because we have some fabulous works which have come in. We're starting a preliminary jury next week, but we've got students from 28 states and 7 union territories. I think that's applications have come literally from around the country. So we will have a North, South, East, West juries, and then there'll be a final national jury in February. But if students haven't participated this year, I really urge you to look at the National Green Earth Challenge and join us. This will be your platform to get to the next stage. Thank you. But this was wonderful. Thank you, everybody. Really enjoyed. Back to you, Arun.
Thanks, Pat. I think these are things that you need to. So just participating in a hackathon and saying I won and lost is not the end outcome, or just submitting a capstone thesis is not going to end it. If you've got a solution, take it up and move it. Just to tell you a number, not to put your mind off, India has $14 billion sitting right now for startup funding, right? And we're letting a lot of these things go away. And these are meant and targeted exclusively at students who are looking at saying, I've got a solution, I want to create a company, can you give me? Gone are the days when you had to go and take a loan from the bank and a whole bunch of people to come and tell you to take a startup. No, you don't need that today. Today, if you have an idea, there are people who are willing to seed fund you from day one, get you to make a prototype, tell you how to take it to market, test it with a client and take it. I mean, yeah, and don't think the reason why the movie is also important for us to look at is, I don't know how many of you of the students have seen James Bond's movie where, the tire kind of bursts off of what they're doing in their drive on the BMW, and then the tire automatically reflates back into itself. That's exactly what Smart Chakra is doing. It's a girl who's taken the initiative to say, why should I worry about that? And it automatically deflates as it goes. But of course, she's looked at it from the energy efficiency point of view. But you see, it can also translate that if you're inspired by an idea. Inspiration for an idea that is workable, that you can see, and you're confident that you can do. All you need is to believe in yourself that you can make it happen, and you'll continue that passion going forward, and money will come. And I don't see that as, and I've been seeing funding happening for SOHAN. I mean, the present fund that Suresh is sitting on also is exclusively focused only on student entrepreneurs. So it's only focused to fund students with their ideas and translate their capstones into startups. So use these opportunities.
Can we allow students to ask questions, Arun?
Yeah.
It'd be lovely for
it's
them
now
to be able
open
to
for
ask.
students to ask any questions.
In the Q&A box, please, if you can write, and our panelists will be happy to answer. Or you can raise your hand and we can, add you to the... You don't have to show your face. You can still ask the question, guys.
Yeah. Or you could just chat, put a question in the chat as well. No?
I think they're shy, but they're not even visible.
So at least give a raise. How many of you are now working on your capstone projects? Raise your hands. You have a raise button down below.
I don't know if everybody can raise their hands in this.
No?
Can we do a poll? Do you know how to do a poll and they can answer yes, no?
In the meantime, I have a question for Bharath.
Yeah.
Dr.
Go ahead,
Pushpa,
please.
the kind of images and the resolution with which the data is, captured. So how much storage, or how do you kind of take care of the data centers, or which have to have the storage, or the cloud which has to take care of this?
So most of this AI can work with 720p resolution. Most cameras are beyond this. So they're obviously, most cameras these days, even in the field, they're all able to do 4K. You don't need 4K kind of resolution to do this kind of inferencing. 720p is generally enough. Of course, you need 4K if it's the subjects or the objects are far away, and hence you need to zoom in a little bit more. In terms of efficiency, it again depends on how many models that you need to apply onto this, but it's reasonably real time, right? Which is like a unit machine can do all this processing in real time. Particularly,
GPUs for this or CPUs?
you need GPUs. You need GPUs. Yeah, but you don't need the training workload GPUs. Like right now, we are able to make it work on a L40S type, which are mostly like on the inferencing side.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any questions from the student side? Yatin, can
Me-
they raise their hands?
We have Dr. Manal from Episha Institute, Mumbai, with us,
Okay.
and Professor Inayatullah. Would you like to say something or share your thoughts, Dr. Manal and Professor Inayatullah?
I think they're muted.
Hello.
Yes, Professor Sir. Good evening.
Good afternoon, sir. After,
I think he has a bad connection. Bad
Bad
connection.
connectivity. Yeah.
so
Can't hear.
the program is so good that the startup concept is the best concept, which is yeah. So, sir, I'm not. Hello, I'm not audible. No.
Hello.
Hello, sir.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
Professor Inayatullah.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Go
we
ahead.
can hear you,
Go
sir.
ahead.
Yeah.
Now you can hear you.
Yeah. So, sir, my submission is to make this artificial intelligence, particularly in civil engineering and mechanical engineering and architecture, which is a very, very important now. So that may create some more interest among our civil engineering subjects. So that is required. So we have to give more works to come up with major activity, because already we are giving our climate change center, means groundwater, everything, the artificial intelligence and this application of artificial intelligence and even optimization of waste management. We are using these artificial intelligence among our research students are doing it. But this startup idea is very, very encouraging, and this has to be given more importance. And PJMT JAIN institutions can take major role in creating more awareness and more interest among civil engineering. Particularly, I will say that make civil engineering with the artificial intelligence is the new concept has to come up, because already everyone is losing interest in civil engineering, which is a basic subject we require. Well, this is my submission to particularly Arun sir and Payal ma'am, to take up more interest in civil engineering, architecture, and mechanical with artificial intelligence applications, which is there, but it should come as a main core subject, not as a project.
Thank you very much, Professor
Thank you.
Nathullah. Thank you for your comments. Arun,
Maybe
the AI intervention is something you can, comment better on, but point
Yeah.
well noted.
I can add something to that. In fact, now the world of AI believes that everything that can be done with text is they have reached some level of saturation, and the entire focus is on this thing called real world AI, where you're trying to perceive things around you and try to automatically understand what is happening around you in the real world, as against just in the textual world. So whatever was there in textual knowledge is all done. And and Professor Inayatullah, the relevance to civil engineering, mechanical, and others are like way more, because the standard approaches that have been used to understand text are not relevant in this world, in the real world, and you need newer ways to understand or build AI structures as well. And you probably are aware of this whole notion of digital twinning, where you're trying to produce a twin of a real world, and including all the processes in that and the activities that are happening there. And just to plug in the importance of video, what people in the IoT domain would earlier do was to put a sensor for everything, how many people are walking through and all that. Now with almost 20 sensors can be replaced by having just one video, right? We say one camera with audio as well. You are able to recreate an entire environment much more accurately, and even try to rebuild 3D from just a few cameras that you put in place. So it is.
Tech has definitely
No,
adopted
actually,
that.
sir, sorry. Actually, you see that our hydrology is 100%. It is data analysis. It is not for 10 years, 20 years. We go for 100 years. If data is not there, we will generate the data. So the major data analysis, and as even our dams, even old age dams, these are subjected to vibrations, not only earthquake vibration, even climate change and different water level variations, also causing it is a health of the dams, that again sensor observations and IoT observations and even the video observations and this AI models to be applied. So all this technology now, even our rainfall and flow in drainage system, that has to be used this IoT, and from that data only analysis has to be done. But what is happening is our engineering students, our curriculum, academic, they are lacking this. Our particularly civil engineering students and mechanical, they feel that coding is not their part, language is not their part. IoT, they are very far off. Still,
fully
they are
agree with
going
you,
for
sir.
classical way, whereas the real world is a completely a different approach.
Fully agree with you, Doctor.
Yes, sir.
What
Yes,
you're
sir. Yes,
saying
sir.
is right. I will definitely take it up. Suresh, we have one question that has come in terms of what would be the best next steps for a corporate team like ours to turn the hackathon idea into a full product or a solution?
Okay. I think, you can just have a structured program to get these students who have participated in this hackathon to have some workshops to identify how they can, what is the commercial opportunity around each of those ideas, and from there we can take it idea. From the corporate perspective, all that you need is a determination to make it extended beyond this hackathon and identify what are the supports that you can give them, right? I think the moment you go and tell the students that I'm here to support with, along with some of our partners, things will start happening.
So I think institutions can definitely start converting that into a product and then
Okay.
do a little bit of work.
Yeah. In fact, one of the stuff that we did with national, startup mission, right? So our startup India was this. The prize was given out to students as a budget to convert their ideas into prototype, right? Or extend this, right? And with a concept like wallet. When it happened, suddenly students became lot more competitive because there is a money which is allocated to them, so they have to go and reach the milestones and convert it, right? That's one thing. Second one, promise that if you complete this, as I said, either you will get funded or I will bring in corporates that will acquire you, right? Some amount of commitment. These things have helped us historically.
Cool. Any other last questions?
So how does Mr. Suresh or the co-creator can be part of the COE of AI, sustainable AI?
Yeah. So what we'll do is we'll create the connect that is needed for your sustainable solutions to come in. Ideally, if they have already applied through NGEC, we'd love to encourage that and consider them. If they have, do share it with us. We're looking at it. But I think it's important that you get most of these people who are there to apply for NGEC when they're doing these. And then we'll take it forward from there if they are fundable and how to translate their capstone into a prototype and then take them to a startup route, right? But
If
presently,
you can tell us, sorry to interrupt, if you can tell us how many students have applied for NGEC, and we can sift your student applications aside and then loop in the rest of the team. I mean, there are plenty in any case, Arun, beyond their college. In any case, I think it'd be good if you're involved in all, because they actually come up from across the country.
We'll look at all of them. Any of them who are interested, look at it. If there's a product, there's a service, there's a solution that you want to see, they'll get the seed funding and all the way going forward to
So we have a
translate.
human habitat challenge and we have a sustainable product design. So we have, like I said, we've got a 240 entries across both. We are, after the preliminary jury, we can share those which are pertinent and which can, you can come in with it, looking at it from the startup lens.
Sure. Ma'am, one thing that you can do across the board, all your hackathons across whoever are part of it, you should allow them to come to NGEC, right? And of course, they'll have a sustainability point of view to that. If they can bring in those solutions, we will definitely facilitate the process needed for them to be considered for the startups. It may be multiple entities that they can work with, right? And we are a network pan-India that we have that we will engage with, depending on the kind of solutions that they're bringing to the table, right? Great.
There is a question in the...
I just answered that question.
Oh,
The idea into a full product and a solution is what Suresh
That's
just
been
answered.
answered, yes.
If there are no other questions, yeah, the last one. Do any of the panelists have a question? No. Great. Yatin?
Yeah, if we can switch on camera, Dr. Hariharan, Sureshji, I can just take a screenshot.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the
Thank you very much. It was a
very nice.
Thank you all. Thanks, Bharat. Thanks, Suresh.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Pailji, for making this happen. Thanks, Dr. Gayatri. Thanks, Yatin.
Sureshji and Bharatji. And keep in touch. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, sure.
Have a nice evening. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.